Jo Robson will be reading to us a bit of comedy from her 15 Minutes into the Future short story coming out in December of this year. Please welcome Jo Robson.
I'm Jo Robson, and this is the beginning of Dropped In. No shit, there I was, hip deep in watermelon and about to get eaten by the dog. How did I come by this ridiculous situation? Not my fault, I swear. It's not really my owner's either. The boss takes okay care of me. I mean, he's a dude, so I've had a few scuffs and stains build up in the year we've been together, but it's not so bad. But seriously, when we get to this family picnic and the first thing he does is hand me over to Marty, his 6-year-old nephew, I know it's going to be a bad day. Marty's being a pisser, whining about missing some stupid kids show to sit around in the park, so the boss tells me to look it up and hands me over. Not a second's thought to what sticky little fingers are going to do to my metallic emerald TM casing. I tell you. So fine, I dig out some reruns of the kids show, with as many commercial interruptions as possible. And no sooner does the title song rattle its way out of my speakers than he wiggles around and jams me in the half-eaten watermelon in the middle of the picnic table so he can have his hands free. Hello, I have legs, you know, and a highly tuned 3-dimensional accelerometer, thank you very much. I can stand up by myself, but does he listen? Of course not. He just tells me to shut up so he can enjoy every mind-eroding moment of talking trees or whatever. And then, 5 minutes into it, the little brat is wiggling around, sticking his fingers in the chocolate cake his mom brought, and ignoring his oh-so-important show altogether. So of course, that's when the dog strikes. It's a big slobbery black lab in service to the boss's mom. She seems like a nice enough old gal, but that dog? Bleh. He just walks up to the table while everybody's distracted, puts his front paws up on the bench, and starts sniffling around. I'm still in play mode, so I can't even try to get away when he leans toward me, attracted by the color and movement on my locked-open display links. If I had a sympathetic nervous system, I would have been quaking in my watermelon-filled boots, but I can't do a damn thing until he leans in and wraps his rubbery lips around me. At that point, playback has been interrupted, and I can scream my head off, which I proceed to do. Unfortunately, both speakers are smushed against a giant slobbery tongue, and nobody's gonna hear me! You haven't known hell till you felt thick, stinky dog slime drilling into every one of your 23 finely machined joints. And then he starts chewing. I feel my feet bounce on the grass a few times and manage to retract my display wings in between chomps before they get more than a little crumbled. But my continued siren and shouts for help aren't doing any good. I'm starting to believe that this will be the ignominious and disgusting end of my service when the boss's mom yells something in dog control mode. He stops chewing and sits up, leaving me hanging out the side of his mouth with a one slightly bent hip joint. Drop it, Trigger! His mouth falls open and I splat on the damp grass, legs skewed and one wing display bent under me far enough to set off most of my damage warnings. The mutt races off to do more damage elsewhere, and I try to rearrange my pieces into some semblance of the original humanoid configuration. I suppose once I've managed that, I could try to get back to the table, but no one's ordered me to, and the view of fluffy clouds dotting the bright blue sky is rather aesthetically pleasing. Then a sideways kid's head interrupts the vista. Hey, are you okay? Marty's voice registers as full of sincere concern. How odd. My functional capability isn't significantly inhibited, thank you, I respond, hating my hardwired communication editing less than usual. Marty frowns. But are you okay? Basically, yes. A smile splits his face and he reaches down to grab me by the torso. Want to play Superman? Oh no. And then I'm airborne, zipping along horizontally around the picnic table, the kid making whooshing noises as he makes me dive and swoop. The breeze over my damaged wing display bumps a warning every so often, but other than that, the experience isn't too unpleasant. Something else is, of course. Did you know that every time you tell your pad to listen up or some such, it gives them permission to up the gain on their audio receptors by as much as 10%? It does. And there's nothing in the program that forces them to drop it again unless you tell them not to listen or something, but who'd do that? So yeah, it only took me about a month with the boss before I maxed out my design specs. It costs a little running time to actively filter out all the extraneous noise, but I don't mind. He hasn't noticed. So I hear it just fine when the boss's mom leans over the table and coos, "Aw, Marty's having so much fun. You know, you're sorry. You know, you should give him your old pad. Mike and Sarah aren't doing as well as you these days. They couldn't afford it, but you're about due for a new one anyway, eh?" The words make me feel like somebody knocked me sideways. I ran into a pad who belonged to a kid once at a baseball game. His casing was beat to hell and he'd forgotten all vocabulary more than 2 syllables. Save me! Mom, Bebop is barely a year old. My panic recedes a bit at the irritation in the boss's voice. "Well, that's a while for a phone. I thought you'd like to keep up to date." "I do. You're the one who tossed your iPhone 5 after 6 months. The screen got cracked. What was I supposed to do? Besides, I had that 6 for almost 3 years. But seriously, you should think about it. Marty would love it, and I bet your new lady friend would be impressed with your generosity." For a long moment, the boss doesn't answer, and I feel my processors spinning into overdrive trying to anticipate his response. I glance around as dives allow and see the lady friend in question about 10 feet away, engrossed in the middle school soccer game that's taking up most of the park this afternoon. They haven't knocked any balls into the family's lemonade yet, but I figure it's only a matter of time. Lucy is very symmetrical, and I know that's important. The boss describes her as bodacious, curvy, hot, and great in the sack. Almost all of those are in the email he sent to his old fraternity brothers last night, along with that surreptitious video of the two of them copulating on the kitchen counter. Subject line, "Granite challenge, pwned." But he's been with 2 other women of similar description in the 348 days since he bought me, and according to the records I inherited from his old pad, 3 years pretty close to average. But then again, I can't find reference to him bringing any of the others to a family outing like this. And that might be important too. Almost makes me regret accidentally sending last night's email to a few extra people, including Lucy. Seriously, when you tell me to send such a thing to all concerned, what do you expect? If you'd like to find out what happens next, Dropped In will be appearing along with 24 other stories starting with the same phrase in the anthology No Shit, There I Was, coming out in December from Alliteration Inc. Thank you very much.